Hello everybody, this is probably not the most useful or exciting UAP document I could ever find, but it is the only one that came up while searching our GovDoc holdings, which grant are unique to our library and our selection profile. And this is a little dated, but I don't know, I feel like I should mix up our exciting AI analyses with something fun, and yeah, so many of you are probably wondering why my other hobby is taking too much precedence in the GovDoc, so I tried looking up other fun things, and one of them was UAPs just to see what we could find. So, yeah, in 25th June 2021, somebody did a preliminary assessment, so let's have fun and read. This preliminary report is reported by the Office of the Director of National Intelligence in response to provision in Senate Report 116233 accompanying the Intelligence Authorization Act for fiscal year 2021 that DNI in consultation with the Secretary of Defense is to submit an intelligence assessment of the threat posed by unidentified aerial phenomena and the progress of the DoD Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force has made understanding this threat. This report provides an overview for policymakers of the challenges associated with characterizing the potential threat posed by UAP, while also providing means to develop relevant processes, policies, technologies, and training for the U.S. military and other U.S. government personnel, if and when they encounter a UAP, so as to enhance the intelligence community's ability to understand the threat. The Director is the accountable official for ensuring the timely collection and consolidation of data on UAPs. The dataset described in this report is currently limited primarily to U.S. government reporting of incidents occurring from November 2004 to March 2021. Data continues to be collected and analyzed. Yeah, stuff has been driving around for at least the last 20 years. Interesting that they're limiting it to the last 20 years, but you know, it's probably because we have better data. ODNI prepared this report from Congressional Intelligence and Armed Services Committees, UAPTF, and the ODNI National Intelligence Manager for Aviation drafted the report with input from USD, DIA, FBA, NRO, NGA, NSA, Air Force, Army, Navy, Navy, ONI, DARPA, FAA, ONA, NGA, ODNI. Alright, assumptions. Various forms of sensors that register UAP generally operate correctly and capture enough real data to allow initial assessments, but some UAP may be attributable to sensor abnormalities. So here's our happy executive summary. Feel free to shut off if you don't want to listen further after this. The limited amount of high-quality reporting on unidentified aerial phenomena hinders our ability to draw firm conclusions about the nature or intent of UAPs. The Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force considered a range of information on UAP described in U.S. military and intelligence community reporting, but because the reporting lacks sufficient specificity, ultimately recognized that a unique tailored reporting process was required to provide sufficient data for analysis of UAP events. As a result, the UAP Task Force concentrated its review on reports that occurred between 2004 and 2001, the majority of which are a result of this new tailored process to better capture UAP events through formalized reporting. Most of the UAP reported probably do represent physical objects, given that a majority of UAP were registered across multiple sensors to include radar, infrared, electrical, optical, weapon seekers, and visual observation. In a limited number of incidents, the UAP reportedly appeared to exhibit unusual flight characteristics. These observations could be the result of sensor errors, spoofing, or other observer misperception and require additional rigorous analysis. We are not copping to nothing. There are probably multiple types of UAP requiring different explanations based on the range of appearances and behaviors described in their available reporting. Our analysis of the data supports the construct that if and when an individual UAP incidents are resolved, they will fall into one of 5 potential explanatory categories: airborne clutter, natural atmospheric phenomena, USG or U.S. industry developmental programs, foreign adversary systems, and the good old catch-all other bin, aka aliens. UAP clearly pose a safety of flight issue and may pose a challenge to U.S. national security, not to mention other nations, but we don't care so much about that. Safety concerns primarily center on aviators contending with an increasingly cluttered air domain. A UAP also represent a national security challenge if they are foreign adversary collection platforms or provide evidence a potential adversary has developed either a breakthrough or other disruptive technology. Consistent consolidation reports from across the federal government, standardized reporting, increased collection and analysis, and a streamlined process for screening all such reports against a broad range of relevant USG data will allow for a more sophisticated analysis of UAP that is likely to deepen our understanding. Some of these steps are resource intensive and would require additional investment. Do you want to put money towards figuring out if these are aliens? Alright, available reporting is largely inconclusive. Limited data leaves most unexplained. Limited data and inconsistency in reporting are key challenges to evaluating UAP. No standardized reporting mechanism existed until the Navy established one in March 2019. That seems really late. Is that just me? I feel like that's something we could have gotten together by the 90s. The Air Force subsequently adopted that mechanism in November 2020, but remains limited to USG reporting. The UAP task force regularly heard anecdotally during its research about other observations that occurred, but were never captured in formal or informal reporting by those observers. After carefully considering this information, the UAP task force focused on reports that involved UAP largely witnessed firsthand by military aviators were collected from systems we considered to be reliable. These reports describe incidents that occurred between 2004 and 2021, with the majority coming in the last 2 years as the new reporting mechanism became better known to the military aviation community. We were able to identify one reported UAP with high confidence. In that case, we identified the object as a large deflating balloon. The others remain unexplained. Don't mind me. The balloon is also what they said was Roswell, right? 114s originated from USG sources. Of these, 80 involved observation with multiple sensors. Most reports described UAP as objects that interrupted pre-planned training or other military activity. Gosh darn, you don't get in the way, aliens. UAP collection challenges. Sociocultural stigmas and sensor limitations remain obstacles to collecting data on UAP. Other subtechnical challenges, such as how to appropriately filter out radar clutter to ensure safety of flight for military and civilian aircraft, are long-standing in the aviation community, while others are unique to the UAP problem set. Narratives from aviators in the operational community and analysis from the military and intellectual community. Intelligence community described disparagement associated with observing UAP, reporting it, or attempting to discuss it with colleagues. Yeah, that's why you don't bring that stuff up. Although the effects of these stigmas have lessened as senior members of the scientific, policy, and military intelligence communities engage on the topic seriously in public, reputational risk may keep many observers silent, complicating the scientific pursuit of the topic. The sensors mounted on U.S. military platforms are typically designed to fulfill specific missions, and as a result, they are not generally suited for identifying UAP. Sensor vantage points and the number of sensors concurrently observing an object play substantial roles in distinguishing UAP from known objects and determining whether UAP demonstrates a breakthrough aerospace capability. Optical sensors have the benefit of providing some insight into relative size, shape, and structure. Radio frequency sensors provide more accurate velocity and range information. But some potential patterns do emerge. Although there was wide variability in reports in the dataset, currently too limited to allow for detailed trend or pattern analysis, there was some clustering of UAP observations regarding shape, size, and particularly propulsion. UAP sightings also tended to cluster around U.S. testing and training grounds, but we assess that this may result from collection bias as a result of focused attention, greater numbers of latest generation sensors operating in those areas, unit expectations, and guidance report anomalies. And a handful of UAP demonstrate advanced technology. In 18 incidents described in 21 reports, observers report unusual UAP movement patterns or flight characteristics. Some UAP appeared to remain stationary in winds, aloft, move against the wind, maneuver abruptly, move at considerable speed without discernible means of propulsion. In a small number of cases, military aircraft systems process radio frequency energy associated with UAP sightings. The UAP task force holds a small amount of data that appear to show UAP demonstrating acceleration or a degree of signature management. Additional rigorous analysis are necessary by multiple teams or groups of technical experts to determine the nature and validity of the data. We are conducting further analysis to determine if breakthrough technologies were demonstrated. And they mentioned that with the adversarial nation, and that was one of the things that the B-2 people used to think that was UFO, right, a UAP constantly, and then they, like, the government finally had to admit, no, we've been building this really cool bomber over here. Thank you for totally breaking it open to the world. Alright, UAP probably lack a single explanation. Duh. UAP documented in this limited data set does demonstrate an array of aerial behaviors, reinforcing the possibility there are multiple types of UAP requiring different explanations. Our analysis of the data supports the construct that if and when individual UAP incidents are resolved, they will fall into one of 5 potential explanatory categories: airborne clutter, natural atmospheric phenomena, USG or industry developmental programs, foreign adversary systems, and the catch-all other bin. With the exception of the one instance where we determined with high confidence that the UAP was an airborne clutter, specifically a deflating balloon, we currently lack sufficient information in our data set to attribute incidents to specific explanations. Airborne clutter. These objects include birds, balloons, recreational unmanned aerial vehicles, or airborne debris like plastic bags that will soon affect the operator's ability to identify true targets such as enemy aircraft. Natural atmospheric phenomena includes ice crystals, moisture, and thermal fluctuations that may register in some infrared radar signals. USG or industry developmental programs. Some UAP observations could be attributable to developments classified programs by U.S. entities. We are unable to confirm, however, that these systems account for any of the UAP reports we collected. Foreign adversaries. Some UAP may be technologies deployed by China, Russia, another nation, or a non-governmental entity. And other, our favorite category. Although most of the UAP described in our data set probably remain unidentified due to limited data or challenges the collection, processing, or analyses, we may require additional scientific knowledge to successfully collect on, analyze, and characterize some of them. We will group such objects in this category pending scientific advances that allowed us to better understand them. The UAP Task Force intends to focus additional analysis on the small number of cases where UAP appeared to display unusual flight characteristics or signature management. UAPs threaten flight safety and possibly national security. UAP pose a hazard to safety of flight and can pose a broader danger if some instances represent sophisticated collection against U.S. military activities by a foreign government or demonstrate a breakthrough aerospace technology by a potential adversary. Maybe that's what's dropping us all out of the sky. Ongoing airspace concerns. When aviators encounter safety hazards, they are required to report these concerns. Depending on the location, volume, and behavior hazards during incursions on ranges, pilots may cease their tests and/or training and land their aircraft, which has the deterrent effect on reporting. The UAP Task Force has 11 reports of documented instances in which pilots reported near misses with a UAP. Potential national security challenges. We currently lack data to indicate any UAP are part of a foreign collection program or indicative of a major technological advancement by a potential adversary. We continue to monitor for evidence of such programs, given counterintelligence challenges they would pose, particularly as some UAP have been detected near military facilities or by aircraft carrying the USG's most advanced sensor systems. Explaining UAP will require analytic collection and resource investment. Standardized reporting, consolidate the data, and deepen the analysis. In line with provisions of Senate Report 116-233 are accompanying the IAA for fiscal year 2021, the UAP Task Force long-term goal is to widen the scope of its work to include additional UAP events, documented by a broader swath of USG personnel and technical systems in its analysis. As the dataset increases, the UAP Task Force's ability to employ data analytics to detect trends will also improve. The initial focus will be to employ artificial intelligence machine learning algorithms to cluster and recognize similarities in patterns and features of the data points. As the database accumulates information from known aerial objects such as weather balloons, high-altitude superpressure balloons, and wildlife, machine learning can add efficiency by pre-assessing UAP reports to see if the records match similar events already in the database. The UAP Task Force has begun to develop interagency analytical and processing workflows to ensure both collection and analysis will be well coordinated and informed. Majority of UAP data is from U.S. Navy, but the efforts are underway to standardize incident reporting across all U.S. military services and other government agencies to ensure all relevant data is captured with respect to particular incidents and any U.S. activities that might be relevant. The UAP Task Force is currently working to acquire additional reporting, including from the U.S. Air Force, and has begun receiving data from the Federal Aviation Administration. Although U.S. Air Force data collection has been limited historically to the U.S. Air Force, began a 6-month pilot program in November 2020 to collect the most likely areas to encounter UAP and is evaluating how to normalize future collection, reporting, and analysis across the entire Air Force. The FAA captures data related to UAP during the normal course of managing air traffic operations. The FAA generally ingests this data when pilots and other airspace users report unusual or unexpected events to FAA's air traffic organization. In addition, the FAA continuously monitors the systems from anomalies, generating additional information that may be of use to the UAP Task Force. The FAA is able to isolate data of interest to the UAP Task Force and make it available. The FAA has a robust and effective outreach program that can help the UAP Task Force reach members of the aviation community to highlight the importance of reporting UAP. Expand collection. The UAP Task Force is looking for novel ways to increase collection of UAP cluster areas when U.S. forces are not present as a way to baseline standard UAP activity and mitigate the collection of bias in the dataset. One proposal is to use advanced algorithms to search historical data captured and stored by radars. The UAP Task Force also plans to update its current interagency UAP collection strategy in order to bear relevant collection patterns and methods from the Department of Defense and the intelligence community. Increased investment in R&D. UAP Task Force has indicated additional funding for research and development could further the future study topics laid out in this report. Such investments should be guided by a UAP collection strategy, a UAP R&D technical core, and a UAP program plan. And then we get into our lovely appendix and Senate report on accompanying Intelligence Authorization Act. The Senate report specifically requests a detailed analysis of UAP data and intelligence reporting collected or held by U.S. Office of Naval Intelligence, including reporting held by UAP Task Force, geospatial signals, human measurement and signatures, detailed analysis of FBIs derived from investigations of intrusions over restricted airspace, a detailed description of an interagency process for ensuring timely data collection and centralized analysis, identification of official accountable, identification of potential airspace and other threats posed by UAP and national security, and assessment whether this UAP activity will be attributed to one or more foreign adversaries, identification of patterns, and recommendations regarding collection of data, enhanced research, and additional funding and other resources. So, Yay! That is the fun of this exciting document on unidentified aerial phenomena from the Director of National Intelligence. Enjoy.